I know a lot about it. Go for it. Spend about 15 minutes, tops, answer that question, get as much down as you can, and then move on to the next one. And I promise you by question 3, things will start clicking. You'll remember stuff from the multiple choice, and you're going now. But the problem is if you don't follow this, a lot of students spend all their time here on this 6-point question, spend a fair amount of time here on this 6-point question, and then just barely touch this 6-point question. Your 3's probably out the window if you do this, if you leave question 3 with nothing on it or very little. Because again, all you get above the mean on this one, you get above the mean on this one, you get a 0 on this one, your 3's in trouble, okay? Your 4's gone, your 5's gone. The reason I'm telling you this is a lot of students tend to think that, let's say question number 1 is really long. It's got 4 parts. It's got A, B, C, and D. Question 2's got A and B, and question 3's got A, B, and C. Guess what? They're still worth the same amount. They're still worth 1/3 of 1/2. So each question is equally important, so treat them equally. All right? That's a really important thing to remember, a really important thing to understand. You got to be able to answer all 3 of them as best you can. One of the most common problems I see is students will write a page or 2 on question 1 because they know a lot about it, and it's got 4 parts, so it's more important. It is not more important. This one's got 2 parts. It's just as important as this one. It's got 3 parts, just as important as this one. Does that make sense? I know I'm not among my people anymore, so you gotta give me some, woo, yeah, I got it. All right, okay. All right, not all FRQs are designed the same. They are different, and I'm going to modify a little bit of what I have this morning because I spent all my time on the plane yesterday studying the latest released exam, and I'm seeing some changes, and so we're going to talk about that. You're going to be the first to know, at least for the things that I'm thinking on this. All this works. All right, so you all remember your transformers, right? Who had transformers? Who still plays with their transformers? There you go, all right. Nothing wrong with that. So a transformer, the idea is it looks like something, and then by the time you get through manipulating it, it looks like something else, right? Starts out looking like a car, pretty soon it looks like a big, giant, robotic superhero, destroy the world type thing. So FRQs like this transform. So the first part of the question, part A, is supposed to be the easiest. All right? It's got verbs like define, identify, and give. So that's supposed to be pretty easy. In fact, at the reading, we call that getting the game points. They're points designed that every student should have access to that. They can define a term, like centripetal forces we've been talking about. Part B usually is asking you to give an example. Now, y'all define centripetal forces pretty well. Can you give me an example? That's a question. Looking for an answer? Okay, religion. Give me more. Tell me about religion. Okay? The way you're explaining it, religion brings us together, although we can also know that religion can tear us apart, right? That'd be a centripetal force. So you'd have to give an example, explain that, and then give me an example in the world. Give me an example of the world where religion is a centrifugal force. Back and say it would be centripetal. Give me one that's a centrifugal. Okay, in Jerusalem and Israel, you see competing religions. Okay? Is that a harder skill than we saw in A? Just defining it. Yeah, you got to know something about the world. You got to have some examples. All right? And then part C is usually where the higher level verb is going to be discuss, explain, apply, and those sort of things. So, see the transformer over here? Anybody catch that? He's over in the rainbow. I just want to make sure everybody saw my transformer. So these questions, what do they do from top to bottom? They get what? They get more difficult. You need to look for that in a question. In an FRQ, you need to look for those questions that they get more difficult. Because one of the problems is, this is why you guys are going to be ahead of the other students that don't get this for the AP Human Geography exam, is they look at questions and they think A's one thing, B's one thing, whatever, and I just got to do the same thing each time. No, you got to give C more time and more energy and more examples, because you're using these verbs like discuss, explain, apply. All right, so it's a completely different kind of question. Here's some examples. This is an old one, but it still works. We had a question just like this last year that I'm going to show you. Define the following as they are used in political geography: nation, state, and nation state. Pretty simple and straightforward, right? All you got to do is give the examples. All you got to do is give the definitions. For each of these concepts, name a specific late 20th century example from region A and a specific late 20th century example from region B. Is that harder or easier than A? That is harder than A, because I got to have some background knowledge. And not only that, they made it time specific. So I got to give something from like 1975 on that makes sense. Okay? And then C, explain the pursuit of the nation-state ideal during the recent decades has led to conflict in each of the following two regions. And there was a map with this question. So you had to go to region A and region B, and you had to talk about a conflict going on there in the late 20th century. Is that easier or harder than B? That's harder than B. So you can see how you got to treat each one of these very differently. Here's another question that's very much like this. Part A is describe, low-level verb. Part B, low-level verb, but they're asking you to do something a little bit different here. They're giving you the factors that are causing the squatter settlements. Give a detailed account of 3 consequences of the rapid growth of squatter settlements. You can see those get a lot more complicated as you go down. So recognize those questions. A's easy, B's a little more difficult, and C is yet harder. Here's another one. This is from last year. And we can't see the whole question on here. But it starts out, identify the primary language spoken here, which is what? French, okay? These are the Quebecers. Part B, it got into the nation-state ideal. Let's see, I've got it on the screen here. It's just not showing up here. Explain how bilingualism has a positive impact on a country. Part C, explain how bilingualism has a negative impact on a country. And then Part D, discuss 2 reasons other than language why Canada does not fit the nation-state concept. Ooh, Part D is heavy lifting. You got to know about nation-state.